Let's jump to the news. We got this from the post-millennial breaking New York Times report. Says Biden is considering bowing out of the race. White House claims the story is false. I don't believe them. I think they have to say that because Biden's got a lot of donors who have already put up money. But I think behind the scenes, they know what the plan is. The plan is an open convention. Biden might, there's rumors actually going around right now on X, Biden might resign. And these are Beltway people. I'll pull up the tweet in a second, saying he's actually planning to resign the presidency in a week. That seems a bit bold. So I don't know that I believe that would happen.
Who said that?
Tom Fitton tweeted that. We'll pull that one up next, though. But for now, we'll get through this. Biden reportedly told an ally that he may not be able to salvage his campaign if he is unable to convince the public in the coming days that he is still able to do the job. The ally stressed that Biden is still in the fight for re-election, but understands that his next few appearances will be critical. One of those interviews will take place with George Stephanopoulos of ABC News on Friday, and it's going to be an edited interview, probably.
Yeah, it's not live, they've already said.
Yep, heavily edited. And keep an eye on the clock behind Joe Biden's head because it's going to be bouncing around like crazy. You know?
Will it be between 10 and 4 in that time frame? So it will be 10 in the morning to 4 p.m.
Watch the sun coming in through the window. Well, if it's going to be critical, I guarantee he's not rolling a 20. He's going to roll a 1.
The White House has said, no, everything's fine. He's running, and that they're planning to bring him out in front of people more. And I almost wonder, I don't think you understand what the problem is. But it's almost impossible, right? Because if he stays in the shadows and doesn't talk to anybody, then we all kind of know what's going on. And if he's in front of people, they run the risks of gaffe after gaffe after gaffe. I was listening to this interview with I think his name's Jim Zogby. He's involved with the DNC. He's been there for 30 years, and he was presenting a path forward for a Joe Biden-less election. And one of the things he said was from now on out, the whole media is just going to point out every single time he stumbles, every time he breathes heavily, every time he walks weirdly. And it makes me want to be like, I know we've already been talking about it for a year. It's almost amazing how much of a shock all of this is to a lot of Democrats.
Well, the White House damage control is late. I mean, they tried to do some saving grace right after the debate. They went to that Waffle House impromptu. Jill Biden gave that really condescending, you did so well. And Joe stood there on stage. But they needed to roll him out Friday, Saturday, over the weekend. Instead, they hit him again. They went back to Camp David. So
they did the one rally in North Carolina, but even then, it wasn't enough.
It's way too late. It's way too late. This narrative is now set in stone, and they're not going to change the media narrative just because they want to. They're going to try their best. They're going to find something to indict Trump on. They're hoping this hurricane in the Pacific and the Atlantic hits Texas directly, and it becomes a story. They need something to change their narrative, but they are incapable right now.
They're grasping at straws. Yeah. What do you think of this idea, though, that it's Biden saying, oh, I think I might need to drop out?
No way in hell.
I don't think it's Biden at all. I think Biden and also the Biden family are all, they are prepared to run until they absolutely cannot, and they don't think it's off the table. It's interesting because, again, going back to this interview I was listening to with Jim Zogby, he was saying, Biden could pass the baton and he could go out with this dignified, ultimate. I'm hearing a couple different Democrats say this thing of in service to the nation, putting aside his ambition and letting someone else step in or whatever. And I just don't think that they have understood the characters involved in this. It doesn't seem like Biden.
And if you look at electoral politics, elected officials, right and left, but particularly on the left, they don't give up power easily. Look at someone like Ted Kennedy. Look at Robert Byrd, right? Look at Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Look at Dianne Feinstein. Just a couple months ago, her staff was voting on her behalf. If you are in this position for 30, 40, 50 years, you don't give it up because it's not part of your DNA.